Hey people, what's up? What's good? What's poppin'? Oh my god. First off, I must start off by apologizing to everybody. Yes, this would be for not being consistent with publishing episodes of Life with Lumii podcast. So the plan for Life with Lumii is that you get a new episode bi-weekly. That is, when you get a new episode this Sunday, in 2 Sundays to come, you get another episode. So basically, in a month, you should have like 2 episodes. But now, I'm not saying we've not been publishing. So far, so good. We've actually published, like, this is the 5th episode. Yeah, with the intro, right? And we've actually been publishing, but it's not just following that Sunday streak. And I feel like it's actually messing up a lot of things. Because now, just imagine you're anticipating your favorite show on TV, say by 9 p.m. and you're just sitting and waiting and expecting, and there is no prior announcement or sort of info as to why the show is not going to come up that day or that time. And then that is why I am apologizing for that inconsistent streak. And the crazy thing is that I really don't like it when people now come to me to say, oh, when are we getting on that episode? We can't wait for that episode. Whereas you're supposed to know that another episode is coming like in 2 weeks' time. But because we've not been consistent with it, you obviously don't even know when it's going to drop. And yeah. So in October here, starting October, we're getting our episodes as when due. So turn on your notification bell. It's about to be a banger. It's about to be back to back. Okay. Production team, they're probably smiling right now, but you guys, you're gonna get it when you're supposed to get it, by God's grace. I mean, put me prayers as well, right? Just in case we're not able to publish as when due, I'm sure it must be as a result of something very, very huge. Okay, and you always get prior announcement or notice or all of that on the Instagram page, and that is why you should follow Life with Lumii on Instagram. If you are not following Life with Lumii, you should do that right now, so you always catch the gist first. Okay, thank you very much. And speaking of October, I mean, how are we already in October? I mean, I can remember very clearly the position I was standing in church when we said our Happy New Year greetings and all of that. And bro, we're already in October. We're going to October, right? Really fast. 2023 is one of those years that ran really fast. But yeah, it's okay. We're good as long as we're alive. We thank God for how far we have come. It's been a long ride, right? So allow me to introduce myself. I am Lumii of Life with Lumii podcast, and let me officially welcome you to that space where life gets better just by hearing Lumii talk. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. We waited so long to have you here, and now that you're here, you are not going away. Oh my God. And now that you're here, you're occupying the front row because we kept it for you, okay? And to the OGs, you're welcome and welcome and welcome again. I hope you're good. Really, I hope that everybody's actually really fine. You're staying jiggy, you're active, you're happy, you're living and fine. So yes, let's just jump right into what we're here to do today. And yes, we started a series on adulthood surprises. I think we started off with episode 3. I shared certain shocking experiences I've had to encounter as I grew up, and I personally enjoyed those episodes. So, and this is episode 5, still following that series. I can remember very well that I said fingers crossed on how long or how short. So let's just take this episode as a continuation. And for this one, as you can tell by the title, honestly, it did not come to me as a shock, because it is something that I had to learn, and I am still learning to fully admit and accept, right? So for someone that likes to have things in check and in control, most of the times it was a hassle trying to bring myself to terms on the fact that things would not necessarily go my way, and I can actually drop it. I can actually just let go and do it some other way, or not even bother at all. Now let me make it make sense to you. So it is very fair and amazing that as a young person, you want to achieve so many things for yourself. You are ambitious, you have dreams and goals. I do have my dreams and goals and all of that lined up, and I'm sure that you do. Right, even if you don't even have it fully formed, but there are things that's normal, no brainer. You know that, oh, I want this for myself, right? So now the struggle comes in when, a certain part of your life is not going how you are planned it in your head or in your subconscious, and now you are left with so many questions as to why this particular thing is not working. Now let me bring it to you that you would keep having unanswered questions, which will lead to deep frustrations because you keep doing the same thing over and over again, forgetting that as long as you keep doing the same thing, there will be no different result. Now let me share my experience or my story with you. So in 2021, I went to serve. So there's this 1-year compulsory program, a scheme that we do in Nigeria, National Youth Service Corps. It's a 1-year compulsory service year for graduates in Nigeria. I was posted to Port Harcourt, to River State, Port Harcourt, and after the 3 weeks camp activities, you'll be given your PPA letter. That's where you're supposed to work for that 1 year. That's where you're supposed to serve rather for that 1 year. So for me, I studied mass communication and I really wanted to be in the media space. Radio or TV, that was my watchword. Radio, TV. Yeah, I was really good at it. I'm still really good at it, right? So we were done with the camp, and on the very last day, we were giving our PPA letters. They gave me mine, and guess what? I was thinking, like, in my headspace, because things were already looking like, oh, I was going to, be posted to a radio station. So I was expecting something like that, or probably somewhere better in code. So I just to find out that on my letter was Rumokuta Girls Secondary School. My dear, the heartbreak that came, but still I was still chesting it. I was not, I was like, nah, it can't be, it couldn't be. I'm gonna work this out. This has to be resolved, right? So we went out of camp. I was like, okay, now we're gonna face life. I'm gonna have to change this thing by all means. I was trying all my possible best to make sure that I don't get to serve in the school. Why? Because for me, I felt like school was not the best place for me. I mean, why am I going to spend 1 year teaching students? Why? Because okay, I come from a background where teaching is something that I could always do, even when I come home from holidays. I had easy access to schools, and I'm used to the environment, so I don't want to come and spend 1 year teaching in Port Harcourt. I want something else, right? So we started working out now. Like, we started working things out. I was trying, sending my CV, talking to people, trying to work my way out of that school by all means, because your girl cannot be here, right? Little did I know that I was fighting the wrong battle, my dear. I was fighting the wrong battle because I actually did all I could. And tell me why every other thing was working out except this one. So I was boxing God. See, I boxed God for the longest time. Like, I was fighting. I'm like, God, you can't do me like this. Like, why? I don't understand. What have I done to you that you are doing me like this, right? And I remember for every person I spoke with at that time, I would always like chip in the conversation of, oh, please, I'm not fit to be here. I don't see myself here. I want somewhere else, right? Now, tell me why every other thing was working out for me at that time of my life, except the changing of my PPA. So now, the tricky thing and the crazy thing here, because it was really deep for me. I that was like a hard time in my life, right? One really hard time in my life. And the moment where I said, Omo, I give up. I mean, I might just stay here. I mean, I've used over 6 months here, and it was not even all that strenuous because it was a flexible schedule. It's not like I had to go to school every day and stuff, just once in a week. So I said to myself, well, I said, I give up. I'm not trying again. I'm not trying because it was exhausting. I've tried all I could and I just gave up. I said, oh my God, let your will be done. Whatever will be, will be. I said, oh, let your will be done, God. And I was just going about my life. Now tell me why that moment where I said, Lord, let your will be done. Say I dropped it off my hands, saying that I'm not doing again. That was when someone from my CDS, got me a placement in a radio station that I have always wanted. Now tell me, explain it, make it make sense to me. And still yet, I did not realize that it's in a place of surrender that you get your victory. I'm better off before, like how much I will always struggle with trying to fix things for myself and trying to make sure that everything goes just how I want it to be. And if it doesn't go how I wanted it to be, I would suffer intense burnout. I would, beat myself up to it and just, be in a messed up state, literally. So now for you, it could be that you're trying to secure yourself a job. You're trying to get yourself scholarship to JAPA, or you're trying to work things out in your relationship, or get closer to God, or upskill, or start up a business, or you're trying to improve your grades and you have tried all you could or all you can't. See, I can relate. I feel your pain. I know how overwhelming it can be. I know how exhausting it can be. I know how draining it can be, coupled with societal pressure and all that drama. But let me bring it to you that the best thing that you can do for yourself right now is to drop everything and quit trying. Simply put, let go and let God. Because it would still not make sense if you keep doing it that same way, if you keep going that same direction. Yes. Now, what do I mean by letting go and letting God? Letting go and letting God is letting go of every of your efforts and literally putting in God's hands that, God, I give up. I give up being the Superman here. I give up being the boss lady here. I leave it to your hands. You are the big guy, so just take over and do your thing. I promise you that it will begin to make sense. It will begin to make sense, to be honest. You remember when we spoke about your future being in the scripture? That is, every detail of your life is contained in the pages of the Bible. Yes, so this is bringing it to real life scenario. Interestingly enough, God here, He knows what you need before you ask. He knows every detail of your life. He has literally planned it out even before you thought of it. So why don't you just trust the manufacturer? Like, He created you. He has every plan in line for you. So why don't you just cast all your plans or your aspirations or your desires or your struggles and your frustrations onto His hands and not lean on your own understanding, because according to Him, His plans for us are good and not of evil, to give you a prosperous end. He always has the best solution. So that's the best bet for you right now. For every frustration you are going through, there is a solution, and the solution is to stop trying to fix it yourself, because as much as you try to fix it yourself, it will not make any sense until the big guy steps in, which is capital God. That's my guy. That's God. Yeah. Until God steps in, then it begins to make sense. Take it from me today. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not asking you to just take it to God and just stop there. Because even when you take it to God, you are still the one that will do the work. Now, you're doing it with a clearer sense of direction. You know exactly what to do. Or there's just clarity on the road for you. And by that time, you know for sure that there is that rest that you have, that as you're, taking this move again, you're doing it differently. There is just something that will be different for you. God will just align your path well, or give you, the right thing to do, the right steps to take differently. That will just make everything make sense for you. Really, I feel like there's no best advice I can give, or there is no other cheat code to this thing than just stop trying to figure yourself. It will not make sense than just giving it unto God, okay? And then you see that everything will make sense. at the end, I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over again, so let me just put it to a pause right now to say that I hope that you're seeing the light as much as possible, and I pray that whatever thing that you're really struggling with right now, there is clarity. God helps you on the journey of life, and I hope that you bring yourself to surrender, like bring yourself total reliance for God to take control. And I'm rooting for you so much, and I wish you all the very best. And so guys, let's continue the conversation on Instagram at Life with Lumii. You can send in your reviews, please. As usual, I'll be looking forward to reading them and sharing them with other people as well. If you have not followed Life with Lumii on Instagram, this is your call to do that right now. Also, subscribe, follow, turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever we release a new episode. Give Life with Lumii 5-star rating, leave a review, do all that good stuff. And yep, till I see you in the next one. Goodbye.